Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee, having my coffee this morning, and wanted to have a little bit of a conversation about something I mentioned a few videos back, and that's about trying to get anything done. And I try to be an observer of what's going on around me and what's going on in my local area and trends in general, because, it helps with preparedness. The more you know, you can prepare for certain things. And I personally feel, although I touched on it in that other video, and I probably have in other videos too, I've never outright said it, I believe that the service economy that we have transpired into over the years is basically starting to collapse, and it's going to continue to collapse. I mean, we're just in the first stages of it, but I believe it's going to continue to collapse throughout my lifetime. I mean, we used to be a manufacturing society, economy. When I was growing up, everybody that I knew, all their parents, they were either farmers that produced something, or they were people that worked in the factories. I'm in Michigan, so basically the big three. They work for GM or Ford or one of the subcontractors that made parts for these companies. So it was either a agricultural or a manufacturing economy. It's not like that anymore. As time transpired and I grew up, it went to a service economy. You had people working in stores and restaurants and hotels, and it was all these service-related jobs. Well, now, since 2020, those jobs have been dwindling. There's jobs there, but nobody's going to fill them, and that's only going to go so long before the powers that be and the commercial interests are going to find a way to cut those jobs right out of the loop, which they are actively doing right now. And the biggest thing with automation and with AI, I mean, there's been a lot of talk on the YouTube prepping channels recently about AI, but the biggest thing about AI is it's going to eliminate the need for people. They don't have to pay people anymore. And there's been, this has been going on ever since they started putting robots in manufacturing facilities way back in the 80s and 90s already. And then if you factor in some type of conflict that draws, a serious conflict that draws more people away from those jobs, it's going to be a necessity where they have to have certain things in place, and all those things write the doom of the service economy that they have fostered over all these years. So I believe that we are in a huge paradigm shift, although you don't see it on a smaller level, on an individual level as much. But I'm beginning to see the cracks and the things. You just can't get anything done. You have a heck of a time getting something repaired, even something as simple as going to a restaurant to get some food. There's just no service no more, and it doesn't matter where you go. I've been in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've been in small towns and I've been in big cities, and it's the same all over. You just, when was the last time you walked into a big box store and seen a whole shit ton of people trying to help you? That's not going to take place. And even when you go into a McDonald's to buy a Coke, you got to order it off a TV screen over in the corner. And maybe there'll be somebody there to give you the cup. Maybe you just go get the cup yourself because there's just nobody there. And this is going to continue. And, I know a lot of people complain about like self-checkouts at stores and stuff like that, but that's just like pumping your own gas. Now, I know there's some states where they still pump your gas, but as a general rule, pretty much everybody pumps their own gas. And I remember back when that started firing up, back when, I was in school, people were saying, I'm not going to pump my own gas, but now everybody pumps their own gas. If the powers that be want it to happen, and that's the only option that they give you, most people are going to fall in line with that. And that's how the compliance of all this stuff starts. They're just not going to give you any options. They're just going to say, well, this is just it now. We have to do this. And they're going to give you some candy ass reason why that they have to do it. They don't have no people. But all that all that is leading into where we're headed. And I personally can't see anything getting better in my lifetime, not without some really serious things happening, and I don't foresee that happening. I believe our future, just like that SHTF scenario video that I did a couple videos back, I believe truly that is our future. That is what it's going to. It is going to be a automated dystopian future. We are headed toward a collapse of pretty much everything that we know, and there'll be different facets to it, but the days of specialization in jobs are dwindling, because they're not going to need us at a certain point. They're not going to need people. We are just going to become a drain on their resources. And I think that's the whole reason why a lot of these events are happening simultaneously. I mean, when you watch the news, they make it sound like that's all organic. And maybe certain circumstances are organic, but I don't believe that they are. I believe that this is just an orchestration of tweaking certain events that have taken place to benefit themselves. And that's what you see. That's what you're seeing happening. And what can we do as preppers? Well, we're already doing it. We're trying to be more self-sufficient. We're trying to buffer ourselves and give ourselves a little bit of a leeway when it comes to economic problems. And we're trying to do more stuff ourselves, stuff like, growing gardens and putting up food, the same stuff that the old timers did, except it's a different world now than what when they lived in. Things were a little bit, people were better with other people. But you're seeing it more and more. Tempers are getting short. People are getting short with stuff. The ones that do know what's going on are kind of withdrawing themselves from society. They don't want to participate in it anymore. I mean, there's a certain segment of the people, myself included, we're ready to just take our ball and go home because we're tired of dealing with all this stuff. This is going to continue. This isn't going to stop. You're going to see fractures of society along those lines. You're going to have people that are going to separate. You're going to have the ones that are going to fall right into whatever this system is. You're going to have some that are going to begrudgingly go along with the system. You're going to have some that are going to separate themselves from the system entirely. And you're going to have some that are going to only participate in the system as much as what they have to try to get by. So you're looking at maybe 4 or 5 different classes of society in the future as this transpires. And the control of resources. More and more commercial interests are taking over as many resources as they can. This is going to continue, whether it's rich people buying farmland or governments getting involved in other governments because they want their resources. How much of this stuff sounds familiar to you? A bunch of it should sound really familiar to anybody listening to this channel, because y'all that comment on my videos all the time, y'all know what's going on. You don't need me to kind of reinforce all that stuff. Anybody that has a preparedness mindset can see these things happening and see these things transpiring. And like I said, what do? The same thing that we have been doing, We're going to try to provide for our friends and our family the best we can with the resources that we have available to us. And I'm not sure there's much more that we can do, because the rich already have their bunkers built, and the rest of us, we have to live in the world as it is, and we're not going to always. I've had people ask me this in comments too. Well, where do I move? What do I do? I think for average people, there is no good place. What is taking place, this shift of our societies right now, it's going to affect everybody at one level or another, no matter where you are, no matter what your economic class is, unless you're at the very, very top. it's going to affect us no matter where we're at. Whether it's, look at all the moving parts that are in our society, whether it's food distribution, whether it's medical, whether it's the ability to keep our vehicles running, whether it's fuel, whether it's electricity. All these things have so many moving parts. It just takes one cog taken out of that machine for everything to break down, and that's the uber specialization that they have built, and it's not gonna stop. Which means if one thing breaks down, no matter where we are, no matter where we live, it can affect us where we're at. And I am under that opinion that no matter where we are, no matter what our class is, some aspect of this societal paradigm shift is going to affect us one way or another. And time will tell how everything will turn out. But anyway, just wanted to mention these few things this morning over my coffee, kind of go into a more of an in-depth conversation of how I feel about the certain things that are taking place. And again, on the importance of personal and individual preparedness. But anyway, this is Modern Refugee. I appreciate all my subscribers out there. I hope you guys got a little information, a little entertainment, something to think about on this video. As always, you guys have a good one.